You recording audio as well?
On there? No, this is I'm just uploading my shit.
Okay.
One is good.
Good shit.
So yeah, that happened.
It's pretty spicy, I like it.
Yeah.
Shit,
Shifting
not
houses, bro.
Bro, you're Marathi.
Pain tolerance. Different. Wait, you're Gujarati, right? I'm sorry. I don't know.
Wait. Avik, who are you?
I'm from UP. Bro.
Oh, right.
He's up.
You're Rajasthani, right? You're half Rajasthani.
I am Marathi, okay?
Yeah, but you're half Rajasthani.
I don't identify as Rajasthani, I'm just Marathi.
I'm not saying you
I'm
identify
sorry,
as
Dad.
one, but you have Rajasthani genes inside.
Yeah, sure. That's what you wanna
Wait,
call
is
it.
your dad fully Rajasthani? or
No, bro. Our family lives in fucking like in a town in Maharashtra.
So who is Rajasthani?
My dad is technically like whatever. It doesn't matter.
It does.
My grandfather probably. No, not even that. It goes.
Who is pure Guju? Sorry. Who is pure Rajasthani?
No one.
Okay.
No one I know. That's like calling Swarat UP because even though he's not.
Someone in his family has to be pure UP.
Yeah, but someone like far off.
Yeah.
Doesn't
but
matter.
It could be as close as his grandfather.
What do you guys think about like the whole concept of saying you're from somewhere?
It's cool.
It's
I
cool.
mean,
No, because what does it mean?
Yeah, because like is it where you were born?
So okay, someone today asked me this. His name is Krishna, right?
I don't know.
Simone, yeah, his name was Krishna. He asked me where I'm from. I'm like, yeah, I'm just from here. And the way he asked that question, it seemed like it was a kind of a big deal to him, or like he really wanted to know where I'm from. So I guess it's how people connect, and like if they meet someone new, they want to know how they can act towards this person.
Yeah,
And
that's
if,
true.
If this guy's from this
It's a
place,
cultural
then-
thing.
Literally,
Yeah,
bro. People literally have just groups in MIT, like, oh, MIT Bengal, where is like Bengali people in one group.
Yeah, stuff like that.
It's
I think-
interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, it's not called MIT Bengal, like it's called something else.
Because like I've always come from places, like come from as in like I've always lived in places. Yo.
Oh,
Lonely Hive.
yeah, on the way.
It was beautiful.
It's good chai. So,
I was shooting while I was driving, so people were honking from behind.
wait, you can't see a bit.
Oh yeah, do you know what I realized this morning? Well, not realized, but I remembered, I guess. So I used to work out like way back, right? And I had no muscles back then, but I built some biceps, very little, and they never went away, which is weird. Because I mean, it doesn't go away, right? But there's no strength, so it's just dead.
Yeah.
But there's no strength at all.
Avik, move on.
I'm like, it's not confusing, but I don't get how that works. Like the muscle you built is there. Like people don't exactly lose their abs, right?
Yeah.
No, abs is not a good thing because abs are always there. But people don't lose like the muscles they build, but they lose the strength.
The reason for that is so your strength doesn't actually come from the physical muscle, the amount of muscle that's there.
Oh.
That comes from hypertrophy, that comes from breaking down the muscle through like enough training volume and training to failure. And then it comes back and it comes back stronger. Your strength is actually neurological. Your strength comes from your brain, like it's more of a psychological thing. That's why a lot of
That's why a lot of moms can just pick up
Wait,
cards.
so physical strength is not exactly physical strength? Is that what you're saying?
it's mostly mental.
No.
Wow, just get over it.
And that's why so many people like that's one of the reasons why something like deadlifting is kind of controversial. It's not really controversial, but like it's kind of a lot of people have very different takes on deadlifting. A lot of people don't realize that it's not about. A lot of it isn't even about your strength. It's like it is the number one thing you can do for strength, but also the number actually means something because it kind of shows your own mental integrity. How hard are you willing to push?
On that note, testosterone is the first thing on the list. So
First thing.
I'll be honest, I did absolutely no research on it.
I'll be honest, I have no testosterone in my body.
You won't be a guy. Like,
0
is that-
grams.
That's how it works. right?
0 grams per deciliter.
You can't have no testosterone. And the most like
Yeah.
feminine woman will have decent amount of testosterone.
Yeah, and you know, men have estrogen as well.
You want not?
No, I'm good.
You want not? Wait.
He's contemplating, you know.
Literally, is contemplating. Cause it's good. Like,
Check if it's still recording.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not wrong.
Yeah.
You didn't do any research.
Nothing at all.
You?
I don't
I
know
guess I took-
anything except like just you should just like have more of it.
Yeah, but that's not enough. I guess the one thing actionable step I did is I bought a non-fluoride toothpaste. That's only because I could. And I'm like,
You know
oh,
what I
didn't
did with the fluoride toothpaste I had?
Yeah, you know.
I brushed the walls and the table. Literally with a brush that looked like a toothbrush too. And I'm like, damn, this works so good. And like, in retrospect, I'm like, obviously it works. Because that's what I do to my teeth every morning. And it should work. Because if it didn't work, it would be surprising.
Yeah.
The thing that I find really interesting about like doing things like medical research and stuff. So a lot of things like people know that it's good to have a good hormonal balance.
Yeah.
People know it's good to have high testosterone. People know it's good to have sufficient sleep. But like people just generally know these things. They don't know why it is. And like once you really delve deep into it and you like do a lot of research in what the actual effect of this is,
Mhm.
like can you like turn off your laptop or
Yeah,
something?
my bad. I was just checking this.
So it's like until you find out the real like actual cause of like what happens when you're high in something, when you're healthy in a certain aspect, you don't even like actually genuinely realize the benefits of it. You just know that it's a good thing
Yeah.
because of what everyone's been telling you, but you never actually question it.
Yeah.
Because when you question something, when someone comes up to you and says like, yo, you should start taking I don't know, testosterone supplements, you should start working out.
Hmm.
Most people are like, yeah, it's something that I should be doing or
Yeah.
whatever.
You
And
should
then
stop saying should.
exactly. That's part of it. It's like they say, yeah, it's something I should be doing, and like they never take action on it. But one of the biggest reasons why people never take action on these things is because they genuinely don't know how
Yeah.
beneficial these things are.
Yeah, that was the same thing with me and sleep. Like, I mean, I always knew it was good for me.
Exactly.
And I've, to some extent, I have experienced the benefits of it before this. But, and to be honest, the first session we had, it wasn't even, like, you didn't even explain me the benefits of sleep. It was more of a motivation thing. But, like, 2 days went by and I'm like, okay, now I see why this is important. And, like, if I was fed proper information about why sleep is important,
Your leg is just covered.
yeah, so I was saying people don't do things because they don't understand why it's important, and that's what being educated about something is.
Yeah.
Because the more educated you are about something you should be doing, the more you are inclined to do it.
That's one of the reasons why a lot of people like get into self-help and they kind of get out of it. It's because they haven't really like gotten deep enough into it.
Yeah.
It's like, so I had a family friend over and we were just talking about like self-help books. We were talking about Atomic Habits specifically, and she was telling me that, you know, she's read the whole book and it was like really nice and everything. And then like she kind of just, she said that it didn't really benefit her.
Yeah. It's fine, I don't have to be in every single angle.
No, it's just your legs. Like it's like weird to just see your legs.
Honestly, it doesn't even matter. Like who's gonna fucking
Wait,
watch
as
this?
long as it doesn't, that's not how you should think.
Yeah.
But as long as each of us are in one angle, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I had my friend over and she was telling me that she's read Atomic Habits like a couple of years ago and like she didn't really get any value from it. And like the main reason why people self-help
She
doesn't
didn't get any value from it.
yeah, like it was informative, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it never translated into anything in real life. And I feel like one of the biggest reasons for that is because people, like your mentor will come up to you, maybe one of your parents will come up to you and say that, like, you know what, you should read this book, you should read Atomic Habits. They'll tell you should start going to sleep on time.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it. And
Yeah.
you do it,
Literally.
and like to you that's like enough because like you did what they told you to do.
Yeah.
But you never really like actually sat and thought about it because you never really had any interest in it in the first place.
Exactly. The thing with sleep is that, I mean, so here's one thing I really thought about, like as soon as I did it. I'm like, the main thing I was thinking was, why did I do it? But because my whole life, everyone's been telling me sleep better, sleep better. It's my whole life. As long as it-
Me.
yeah, him as well.
We have
Everyone.
had a conversation where we like fought. We're like, bro, why don't you sleep?
Yeah.
And he's like, shut up.
Everybody.
Don't talk to
And
me
you know,
about this."
ironically enough, Sao was the one who never really nagged much about it. Apart
Yeah,
from
she
the
just got used to it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a huge issue back then. It got much worse, like near the end of the day, but whatever. The first thing I asked myself is, why did I do it? Like, what is so special about abek? And what I went back and what answer I got was, it's not abek. I mean, yeah, it is abek. Like, it's because you told me. But what was it about that you told me? And it was
You paid for it.
I went
Literally.
home, and when I did that, when I slept early, when I kept my phone away and I woke up the next day, I think just involuntarily it was immediately about identity for me. Like, it wasn't that, oh, this guy told me to do it so I should do it. This is like, oh, this guy wants the best for me and he wants me to be a better person. And that's probably why I kept my phone away and slept, because I want to be a better person. And I didn't say that to myself, but
Yeah.
I noticed it. And the very next day I'm like, oh shit, Rudra, wake up early today. So now that's what Rudra is gonna be. And never
Rudra,
woke up
wake
late
up
again
early.
after that. So
And
I
that's your
think
identity now. You're like, I'm the guy who wakes up at like
everything
7
is
and
about-
goes on a run in the
Dude,
morning.
Everything is about identity
yeah,
right now.
you know, like the self-help thing is so much about packaging. So I watched this video by Mark Manson, and he's like, most self-help books just say the same thing but in different packaging, and that
Yeah.
matters a lot.
Yeah.
Because the way they say it, like, it'll change your perspective on either if you actually do the action or you just say like, oh yeah, I already know this. Like,
Here's the
just
thing,
skip this.
you can have the best book, but if you're not gonna perceive it in a specific way that's helpful for you, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
When I was in the gym a couple hours ago, I was listening to Naval Ravikant. Have you guys heard of him? Naval Ravikant.
Naval Ravikant. No.
He's a billionaire. He's just like, he's massively known in the whole like entrepreneur self-help space. And this is a guy who's like, he's extremely popular in that whole like author self-help space. And he was saying the same thing. It's like, you could read like, for him, he said he would rather read 100 of the best books 5 or 6 times over and over again rather than try and read like different things, because different things is just like the same information repackaged.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. That's what he said. Like, if a person statistically buys one self-help book, they'll buy 7 more. And he's like, then what's the point of buying that one book? Like,
Yeah.
like then the books are not useful at all, because why do you need to buy 7 books to get it together?
Yeah.
Like, one book should be enough.
I finished the book, like the Wisdom of Insecurity, a week ago. I haven't read it again yet, but I don't feel ready to move on to another book. Like, that stuff stayed with me,
Yeah.
and it's still there. And I haven't read it again. I have to, but that, like, the more you let something soak in, the better it is for you.
Yeah, literally.
Do you guys think that applies to music as well? Like, music, like,
Yes.
sometimes in genres, like some albums are the same things, just packaged differently.
Yeah.
I think this applies to, I think, almost all media, because
Literally.
with reading, for example, like, you can either sit down and read it like really well once, twice, maybe even 3 times, or you could read it like 6 or 7 times and skim through it
Yeah.
at like different points in life.
Yeah.
You'll get like the same relative amount of reward. Like, you'll look through this book. There's like post-it notes and stuff. There's like, I'm like 80% through it. It's like I've written down notes everywhere. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Oh shit! Did I get my book?
I got 2 books.
Yeah. So, not in every single chapter, but I just have like fucking
annotations.
yeah, annotations,
Yeah.
like shit. Things I
I
want to
was
come back
just
to.
way too scared to write on the book, so I just wrote everything that I learned in the journal, like just all the points. Because so in the book, what is the name? How to benefit and influence people. Just at the end of each part, it just says all the points in like one list. You can just write it down and what it means for you. That's what I've done.
Dude, the thing I love about this book is the things I've like annotated and like made sure I have to read again. It doesn't matter what context you read it in. Like, if you've never read this book and you just read one of the quotes that I've underlined, it won't make sense, but it'll just spark a thought inside you.
You wanna read one out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just open just read any random one out. Doesn't matter what it is.
we do not actually understand that there is no security until we realize. Okay, no, not that one. Okay, it's conditional, but let me read a longer one. Understanding comes through awareness. Can we then approach our experience, our sensations, feelings, and thoughts quite simply as if we had never known them before, and without prejudice, look at what is going on? You may ask, which experiences and which sensations shall I look at? I will answer, which ones can you look at? The answer is that you must look at the ones you have now. And I'll tell you, in context, it means something completely different than what you might think it is.
What does it mean?
I can't even tell you. It's so like I can't. This book. I told this to him about the summary of this book. I would summarize it in like, okay, so the structure is like, it will spend like 3 or 4 chapters building an issue, quote unquote. So it's gonna talk about the issues of security and not being in the moment and anxiety and stuck in the past or the future. It's gonna build upon that in a positive way. Like it's gonna tell you everything that's wrong with it and why it's that way, and like that's gonna make you feel really depressed. And like in the 5th or 6th chapter, it sort of starts blooming. It gives you a solution, and the I won't tell you what the solution is, but it gives you the solution by saying that there is no solution.
Give me the book.
And it's like I guess if I were to make it shorter, it's gonna contest everything that you ever believed in or you knew, say that it's wrong, and then it's gonna tell you why it's that way, and then it's gonna give you a whole new set of beliefs to have, and those new sets of beliefs are that there are no beliefs.
It's very profound.
It is. It talks about the difference between belief and faith and all of that, about how belief clings but faith lets go, and it's worth having.
I think this whole concept of like having no beliefs and being completely neutral on a topic, it's something that's been coming in and out of me like in waves. Like it's been especially the last like 5 or 6 months, I've thought a lot about just having it's not even about like opinions or having balanced opinions or what. It's just about accepting things for what they are.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it's that journal entry I read out. Do you want me to read it out again?
Yeah, sure.
I feel like it's relevant.
I don't remember it, so.
You might have a different interpretation of it this time, that's like the beauty of it.
Yeah, definitely.
The beauty of every kind of media is you can have a different interpretation every time you like live life.
Definitely. Well, that's not the beauty of media. That's the beauty of living.
No, exactly. But like also media, because
Media is always static.
Media is just
This book is not gonna change in 10 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but like that's what's so good about the book.
Yeah.
It's like in sometimes you just have something that you know, and then you come to later.
Yeah,
and then
definitely. Like some things are more profound in changing your perspective than others.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like Blonde versus some other pop album.
Yeah.
I think media in general is just it's a way to convey the human experience, because the human experience is not objective.
Yeah.
It's a series of emotions and senses, and it's just, you could have a movie like The Grand Budapest Hotel be filmed in a very like grunge way, but the way it could be the exact same, like objectively it could be the same story.
Yeah.
But the human experience, the lens at which you look at it is completely different, right?
Definitely.
And I have a different, slightly related analogy that I was thinking about. Same thing in the gym today. I was like making verbal notes about. But anyway, let me read this out. So this was after I listened to a podcast by Healthy Gamer GG, Dr. K. As Dr. K said, it's not about the decisions we make, it's about sticking and committing to the decisions that we do make. And then now I went on to something that's like not relevant, but if the coin said heads, then it said heads because it happened regardless. That was how it simply happened. This acceptance is something that I find to be truly profound. So the coin there was no half chance that the coin would land on heads.
Yeah.
It landed on heads because it landed on heads. It wasn't destined to land on heads.
Yeah.
The probability wasn't that it was going to land on heads. It landed on heads because it landed on heads. A misunderstanding of this, however, raises the question, is anything that I have ever done or will do that is actually decided by me? The answer is neither yes or no, it's not both.
I am unable to find the correct language to explain this answer, or I am bound by the dimension that is language itself. The best way I can describe this is that it is a mere acceptance, an acceptance that every action and decision taken has a role to play in the future. This acceptance cannot be achieved through language. It must simply be understood. And this brings me immense comfort and peace with my own existence. It makes me feel one and united with the universe.
That so many of those things are related to this book, or like topics from this book. The thing about, being bound by language itself. I feel like the moment you name something for what it is, it's no longer that. Like one. Okay, I don't know how to explain this, but I'll give you an example.
I think.
Who am I? Hold on. Who am I? Don't think about it too much. Just hold
Yeah,
on.
you're Rudra. To us, you're Rudra.
Yeah, but that's not me. That's my name. I'm not my name. So who am I?
Rudra Perfect.
You're this, where everything around us and what we are is just a form of existence that simply exists. You can't put it in a box. You can't give it a name.
Yeah.
Because that's doing an injustice to what they are.
You're
Exactly.
You're
But what you
object
just said
from-
was naming the
Exactly.
experience.
Exactly.
So the correct answer to who am I is just this.
It's just silence.
It's pointing towards me. And
Is it pointing towards you? Because even
even that not, because I'm not I am a physical form, but I'm
but
not
it's not a real representation of what
of
you
me,
are.
exactly. So I mean, but the closest way to do it is just this, because that at least gives some sort of direction to the eye. You can't just say I'm Rudra. I mean, you can't just ask. I can't just ask you who's Rudra and you just be silent and expect me to understand.
Yeah.
Well, I guess from now on you can, but with people you don't know.
Who's Rudra?
Yeah. I get it.
Who's Rudra? He's just away from another
Yeah.
universe.
So it talks about the limitations of conventions, and also how that's related to God. That's how. So there's this one quote where it's like, if you were to ask me to show God, then he would point to the trees, the sun, and the worm. And then if the guy said, "Oh, so you mean that God is the sun, the trees, and the worm, and all other
He's
things?"
like, no.
Then he's like, "No,
Yeah, you missed the entire point.
entirely."
You
Yeah.
sent this on the Discord. It
Yeah.
bro, it stuck like a real chord with me because I
Yeah.
was like,
So
it's so that whole story is so well put together.
yeah, so
it makes so much sense.
in an ideal world, you wouldn't even point at anything, because if someone asked you what God is, you would just have to be silent, because this is God right now. That's what he says. Reality is God.
Who's God? Just go.
Yeah, but for the sake of the quote, he pointed at the sun and the trees and the worms, because that is God. And he could might as well point at the air.
Like, you're
Yeah,
like
it's not that
anything.
cinematic, so yeah. So this is God.
Who's God?
It talks a lot about religion and belief and how, it's a whole different conversation. I won't get there because I have so many things to talk about.
So the way I feel about like all of these things, just like different concepts and ideas of understanding the world that we live in, I feel like it always, like I said, like this concept of everything, it was hitting me in waves. But another analogy, like a really good analogy I came up with in the gym while working out, like this shit always happens when I'm bench pressing, okay? Because I think it's got something to do with like the blood flow that goes to my brain. I'm being serious right now.
Yeah.
So I feel like any concept or idea that we learn, it's always given to us in pieces of a puzzle, right? So for example, you know all those like Instagram motivation accounts, like the ones that just post like a picture of a dude getting out of his Lambo and like in like the mountains,
Yeah.
and he's just getting out of the Lambo, and like Ooper, like in the sky there's this massive quote saying, "Believe in yourself."
Exactly. Yeah.
But the fucking crazy thing is, like when you're younger, you listen to that and you're like, wow, this is so cool. And then you become like a teenager and you grow older, you're like, damn, that was really cringe.
Yeah.
And then when you're like 70 or 80, it blows your mind because like, holy shit, that was so true.
Yeah.
Believe in
That-
yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know how it works. It's like that quote that you see. It's so all of knowledge is like puzzle pieces in a box, right? That quote that you find is one puzzle piece being taken out of that box and just being given to you, right? Without you haven't seen the puzzle, you don't know what the what the puzzle looks like, what the image looks like. You just get the puzzle piece and you look at it, you're like, damn, this is cool. Like, you know, it might be, if the puzzle piece might show like half of a house or something.
Yeah.
You know,
It makes some sense.
right? Like you can make out, like you can make out partially what it is, but you're like, I don't know what to do with this. Like you just leave it on the table.
Yeah.
And then over time, in life, as you accumulate more and more experiences, you keep getting handed puzzle pieces one by one. And occasionally, you'll find a piece that is adjacent to another piece, and you connect that and you put that on the table. You're like, okay, so this connects like this, right? And you keep getting all these puzzle pieces, and you keep forming different, you know, things. Most of us, we end up living our lives without the pieces that actually connect everything together, right? We leave a lot of holes on the table.
Yeah.
When you find a piece of information like that book, or like the podcast I was listening to today about Naval Ravikant, he was talking about economics in a certain sense, and he said he said something which I'm not going to talk about specifically, and that it, you know, when someone says like it's like a piece of the puzzle like being put in place, like the last piece of the puzzle being put in place, whatever the quote is. It's like I heard that and like I could literally feel that forming in my brain. It's like you don't know what this image is. Like you can make out different shapes and it's like a weird amalgamation of sorts. But you put that one puzzle piece and it's like, okay, so this is the face of someone. This is like a city or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you're like, now the whole picture makes sense. Now I can move on to the rest of the puzzle.
That's a really good analogy. It fits so well because, you know,
Literally.
the more
Literally fits so well.
the more puzzle pieces you get, the more you don't know what the final picture is, but like you get 5 pieces, you could tell that, oh, this is like an ocean or something, right?
Yeah.
And you know how in some puzzles, some pieces are just blank because they're supposed to be blank, like, you know, like the sky or something. I feel like that also fits very well because like it's like telling a 5-year-old like things about algebra. He doesn't know what it is. It's a blank piece to him, but it's something, and maybe it sticks with him. And 10 years later, he learns about algebra. He's like, oh, that's what that blank piece
That
was.
belongs here.
No,
Yeah.
you know what I feel like, even though there is a picture that exists, the more and more like you feel like there's already a predestined picture,
Yeah.
but the more puzzle pieces you put on, you're like more confused because you don't know what it is.
True.
So the puzzle pieces, they just like add up to an entirely new thing.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
feel like
they make the picture instead
You
of
know
just
what?
there being a picture.
I feel like for different people, obviously for different people, the end result is different.
Yeah.
But I feel like instead of it being an actual picture, like something that made sense, it's abstract.
Exactly.
But like it makes sense.
You know what it is? It's like so you might find like 2 or 3 adjacent pieces here. You'll
Yeah.
find 2 or 3 adjacent pieces here. Like they don't connect.
Yeah.
But it's like you have different areas, and what that does, it makes you even more intrigued. I want to find the shit that connects all of it together.
Yeah.
It's like you
What's
have.
in between, yeah.
It's like it's not only about like the amount of puzzle pieces you have. It's also about like how much they connect. Because once they start connecting, you want to like make the whole thing connect even more and more.
Yeah, because virtually there's no size to this puzzle. Like it's not like 5 by 5.
Yeah.
It's more like it's not
very
a square.
abstract.
It's probably like open ended, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like
you can always add more
any
pieces.
piece can connect to any other piece.
Honestly,
Like,
I
you
feel
don't
like
know.
I feel like even like when you die, you don't die knowing everything about everything ever.
Yeah.
Right? Even about something like let's say someone who studied like psychology for 20 years of their lives, they'll know, like they'll have most of the puzzle figured out, but they'll die never knowing everything about it.
Yeah.
So I feel like the point is never to complete the puzzle, it's to expand the puzzle, because the more you expand
exactly.
it,
So, you know,
the more you understand
you
it.
feel like there is a picture that probably exists, but there is no complete picture. You just keep building it,
Yeah,
and
there's
that's
no
the complete picture.
end point. You just keep building it because I mean I feel like to some sense you can never know everything about everything ever.
You can't.
You can't.
Yeah, it's impossible.
So the analogy fits really well, but it doesn't have an end point.
Exactly.
Also, I did the same thing with my books.
What did you do?
The masking tape and then writing.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And shout out to masking tape, man.
Bro.
You know why? Oh my god. Yeah, nothing. I
It's cool. Do you guys think there's more than one puzzle?
obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I feel like there's different puzzles for different domains. Like,
I feel like
okay, so there's a puzzle about this book, but there's also a puzzle about books in general.
I
There's-
disagree.
Okay, how do you?
I don't think the puzzle is something that you can lay flat on a table.
yeah, it's like
I think
Oh.
exists in not even 3 dimensions, probably 4 dimensions, because everything in life is so interconnected.
But I mean, when you visualize it a flat puzzle, right?
I mean, I was saying that for the sake of the analogy,
Yeah,
but like
yeah,
if you
exactly.
really think about
Oh
it,
yeah, definitely.
everything is so interconnected. It probably doesn't exist on like a 2 or 3D. Like you can't
Yeah, yeah.
visually comprehend it.
Well,
It
so
exists on multiple
I guess
planes.
the point of the analogy is that it's just there for visualization's sake. But
yeah.
You don't take it literally.
Yeah, that's what like language is, you know, like how you said, it just puts everything in a box. That's what the
Yeah.
thing does too, but it's a very good way to put things in a box.
I mean, some analogies
Because-
you're supposed to take literally, but I think in this case you're not. Like,
Yeah.
like any people have different variations of what a puzzle looks like. It doesn't just have to be like a square with
Exactly.
circles.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
It-
Most analogies are limiting though.
Yeah, I feel like the idea is that whatever you think is a puzzle is what applies, and whatever way you visualize it to make it easier for you is what applies.
I think the puzzle takes the form of the human brain because we can't access most of our mind, right? We don't have access to a lot of like the things that are just like really that are buried like really deep inside. And if you really think about it, your mind isn't a 3D object. It's like Doraemon's pocket. It's like it's in 4 dimensions. It's like it's everywhere,
Yeah.
right? It's like there's no limitation within your mind.
There's no limitation to consciousness.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say something. Yeah, you scientifically only use 10% of your brain. Like,
Apparently.
I thought that was like just a meme.
no,
Yeah.
it's apparently real. That I mean that applies in the literal sense that parts of your brain don't
But yeah,
actually
it-
need to be used.
Are they just calling you like stupid or something like that?
No.
Use 10%.
That is the biggest compliment, dude. You use 10% of your brain and you do crazy shit. Imagine if you could like
What
get
happens if
10%
you
more.
Yeah, what happens if you use 90% of the brain? And
Forget
then-
90.
and then there's
Imagine
like-
you get
and then
10%
there's like
more.
Morgan
Bro,
Freeman
imagine you
shit.
get 1% more.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You have such a massive like competitive advantage over everyone else if you like get
This reminds
access
me
to
of the
it.
fucking the My Hero Academia thing, like 8% all.
Nah. We went way off testosterone.
We didn't even talk about this stuff, so.
I mean, I feel like that's what conversation's about. You're not
Yeah,
supposed
yeah,
to restrict yourself.
But what did you learn about testosterone? In a nutshell, I guess. Not in a nutshell. But
In that.
I mean, it's just like in general, I've just been listening to people talk about it, and I've realized a lot of things. Like
What
because-
would you say for us to try to be more mindful of getting more
Stop
testosterone?
jacking off.
testosterone. See, the thing about testosterone is that like I can sit here and tell you like what things you need to do to increase it, but like that's not the point. No one's gonna sit and tell you why you should do it. Why you should do it is because like testosterone is like it's the driving force of anything you want to do in life. That is what drives ambition. Like if you are low on testosterone, you might try like 100 different things you want to do in life. You will always lose out to the guy who has like 10%, 15% more testosterone than you.
Yeah.
Literally motivation, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense.
So this is a paraphrase from Andrew Huberman. What he says that testosterone can be boiled down to the thing that makes hard work feel good.
Yeah, that's what you said the last time we talked.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Not only that, he said that it gives you the drive to like just do shit.
Have you researched about masturbation and testosterone particularly?
Yeah, so I have I've done a little bit. So the thing about masturbation, so in a short term, when you ejaculate or whatever, you get a short increase in testosterone, but it's very short term. I think it lasts like 24 to 48 hours, and then it's gone, and then you're not back. I wouldn't say back to baseline, but like it goes down after that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you spend 7 days abstaining from ejaculation, after 7 days, that amount of testosterone recuperates by 400%.
What? It just increases by.
Yeah, that's. I might be getting like
But that
the
doesn't-
specific wording wrong, so that might change it. But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is that there is a huge increase in testosterone after a week from abstinence.
Yeah.
So like if you
A
keep
week to
abstaining,
10 days.
Honestly, it's not. I mean, people would think it's about semen retention. It's kind of a myth. Semen that the more. I mean, it's not that the more semen you keep in, the more it's gonna.
Yeah,
stay
it's
there.
it's not linear.
It's not linear. It's not
Yeah.
that. It's not that the more you don't ejaculate, the more
I mean,
testosterone you get.
I feel like the reason to not ejaculate is to just like avoid to have what is called delayed gratification. instead of
Yeah, I
just
mean, for
receiving
most
gratification.
people, that should be enough of a reason to stop.
Yeah.
But for someone who's addicted, they might need more of a reason.
Yeah.
That happens.
No, I feel like that is the more valid reason is like just delayed gratification.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, like if someone is really addicted, you can't just tell them you have to stop masturbating because it's good to
Delay
delay
gratification.
gratification.
Like yeah.
You have to explain them why why it is important to delay gratification.
Yeah.
And then that's probably not going to work. So you have to go on to say like testosterone and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was just like, first of all, it feels horrible.
What?
Like doing it, obviously.
Yeah.
Like not, I mean, it feels good, but that's about it.
Like after that, you just feel like you did something horrible.
Yeah, it
And
it
that's
gets
not only
worse.
because like it's a very inert feeling too.
It sticks with you. That
Yeah.
post-nut clarity is not a joke. Like it's not a meme. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
It does. The thing is, not only like is it inherently just you just feel bad. Even how it's portrayed in media is like, oh, it's just a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
Then it's just like, oh, I just did like a bad thing.
Yeah.
Even though maybe if you didn't learn all of that knowledge, where it just affects you badly.
See, I'll tell you, it hits you so much more when you have identity tied with it. Because I mean, for me, that's how it is for me. Most things, like most habits I'm doing, like meditation, running, waking up on time, sleeping on time, it's tied with my identity, and
Yeah.
it gets toxic sometimes. But it's like, if I sleep at 10:30 today, I'm not being true to who I'm supposed to be, and that's not good. And that's a good way to motivate yourself.
Yeah, that's a very good
But-
way to motivate yourself.
But yeah, and when like when you shift from not thinking of identity to thinking of identity, and you do the same thing as before, like masturbate, it hits you so much harder. So it sucks.
Yeah, you just feel like, oh, I'm not
like,
being.
I'm like, wait, I'm the guy who wakes up at 7 a.m., sleeps at 9:30, who meditates, who goes for a run, and he just fucking jacked off.
Yeah, like that's not even.
That is so messed up. Why did he do that?
It's,
exactly.
In my experience, like I don't experience post nut emotions anymore because I feel like I abstain from it now, like
Yeah.
almost completely. Like I'll go 2 to 3 weeks without it, but like when I do it, it feels normal. Like I don't feel bad about it. I feel good about it, and I continue to be motivated. And that's definitely because 6 months ago I started like moving away from it, in the sense like watching stuff and just like watching, reading, whatever it is, like just consuming like just sexual information, and like I had built a really bad relationship with that for a long time.
Yes,
And then I began to like not arouse myself with anything and just like do it on my own, and then like continue with my day.
that's what I was about to say.
I started doing that. It still felt bad, but it felt less bad.
Yeah.
And eventually it's got to a point where it's like okay, I'll go like 2 to 3 weeks, I'll like get my testosterone up, I'll feel great, and then like I'll do it once, and then I won't do it for like 2 or 3 weeks again.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, did the difference in media change anything at all?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying as well.
It's
like I mean, for me, I noticed it like not going from media to no media at all, because I mean yeah, I was no media for a long time, but yeah, but with media, it's like half of your post-nut clarity is related to what you just watched.
Yeah, it is.
Like I mean, you feel really bad if you jerk off to something
yeah.
horrible.
It depends on like how far down you've gone down the.
Bro,
yeah, and
listen,
sometimes-
when you get onto Reddit and shit, it's like you just do not do that, okay?
Yeah. No. Here's the thing about Reddit is so extensive. Okay.
It's so bro.
you
I'll
can
tell
find
you.
poop, piss, and that shit,
No.
and then you can go to amateurs like in 1 second.
Yeah, literally, you can go to fucking r/sounding, and then you can go to like ask.
I don't want to know what that is.
You okay.
No, don't tell him. bro.
Okay, basically, you don't realize how messed up, like how badly it fucks your brain until you just like stop doing it and you're like, fuck.
Here's the thing, context matters so much. I wish I could go into more detail, but not on recording. But
You can just cut it out.
nah, it's still. But
No,
just-
it's like
just
there's
do-
people outside my room
yeah,
as well.
that
so.
as well. But the thing is, like depending on your entire life situation, are you in a relationship? Like what is your trauma about? And depending on that, if you watch something specific that's sort of in that line, it affects you very differently. Like the same trick can have a very drastic effect on your post-nut based on if it's related to your history, or if it's like it's crazy because pornography is like it's another form of creative media, I guess you can say.
Bro, it's not even creative, bro.
It's
just
no, it
media.
is.
It is. It's an art, is what people say.
Yeah, but
I don't
it's
agree
like,
with that.
I feel like so much of it is just extremely bad, like badly represented. Not only like, okay,
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm saying it, okay, in two ways. First of all, it's just badly made, like it's not arousing enough.
Yeah.
And second of all, it's just bad for everything because the actors and all, they're treated horribly.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah.
And even after
I
that.
wasn't getting into that. I was saying, I was relating it to a creative thing because, like a album affects you in a different way because of your life situation. If I was never in a relationship, Blonde wouldn't hit me so hard.
Literally.
So in the same way, like pornography affects you like that as well. That's why I'm saying media is so important because I feel like that's probably why you don't feel bad about doing it because there's no media involved.
Yeah.
It's just your imagination.
The worst part is imagining fucked up shit, and you're like, even when you
No.
have no media,
That's-
that can happen because of media.
That doesn't happen now.
That happens because of the media. That
Yeah,
we
exactly.
Yeah.
Because whatever, like porn just represents that all of that stuff
See.
in such a like bad way, like in a degrading way to the
See.
people inside it, that you don't even feel like okay, when you like imagine yourself in that situation, you can't basically.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible that you would ever do any kind of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you like get clarity and you just like
Can you
move
like
on.
talk thoda?
Yeah. See, the thing about what was I saying? Yeah, with pornography, like when you're not imagining, you're limited to something that's been made already. So what you're looking at is most probably something that you're not actually into. Like your brain just likes what it looks like.
Because
it's objectively arousing you, but it's not exactly what you want.
Yeah.
But when you're imagining, you have the liberty to think whatever you want to think. So like even outside of the boundaries of pornography, so you can that's when it gets not shameful or with personal clarity. So
Yeah. It's like you
and
feel
I
like
mean
you-
ideally I wouldn't even want to do that. Like if I'm abstaining from it, I better do it like 100% of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So and that's easier said than done because like I've tried that like for years and
Yeah, no, I think when you get like, when the clarity hits you, like how you just started sleeping.
it's
Even though for years you couldn't sleep. Like when the
it's-
clarity hits you, you just stop doing it because you just have other things going on.
yeah.
Then you don't even have the time to do it.
Yeah. So
Because
it's-
I think I read this in the subreddit, NoFap subreddit, is like the top most post is just that you're not horny, you're just bored.
yeah,
That's why you're
definitely.
doing it. Because like you're not aroused half the time.
That is true. That is so true. Like I can go back to most of the times it's happened and it's like, oh, I was just bored.
Yeah, exactly. Like when it starts, when you're like young, you are aroused. But when later it just becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And even that, I watched a lot of things about habit. Is like what what dopamine. I think it was in that Dr. K video where he just talks about weed. Is the habits, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah. The thing about habits is like at one point in your brain it becomes a motor activity. Like
Yeah.
you do it just because you have a habit of it, not
Exactly.
because you like it. It's like brushing your teeth.
And like
It's not the
playing
best
games.
example because brushing your teeth is actually good for you. So
It was never enjoyable in the first place.
yeah, but you know how with video games, you play a game for long
Yeah.
enough and you don't start enjoying it anymore. But you still play it. It's like muscle memory. Like
Exactly.
for me it was GTA
Muscle
5.
memory.
I've finished GTA 5 from starting to end the story like more than 10 times. At least a dozen.
At least GTA 5 has a story, but like imagine just online games with the same maps, and the maps are like small too.
Yeah, I mean no, I would argue that games that have stories are more boring than games that don't have stories.
Dude, I feel like games that don't have stories They are a lot more repetitive and just like a lot more unhealthy for you.
It's not about health. I'm talking about the experience itself, entertainment. You get more entertained with games that don't have a story.
No.
I'll tell you why. Because you can only play a story game for so long before you get bored with the story
I
itself.
It depends on what game you play.
GTA 5 has an amazing story, but after 3 times ending the game, I'm like, fuck. What?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You had an entire experience with the game, right?
Yeah, that's what it's about.
I wouldn't play Fortnite for like months, even though I did do that. But like, I probably want to play GTA 5 more times.
No, there's always nuance with RPG because you never know what's gonna happen. The strive that you always have to win. You don't know if you're gonna win, but with GTA 5, you know what happens in the end.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna win.
Yeah.
Or you die.
At the same time, I feel like, even though I don't know about enjoyment, but I feel like it would be more fun to enjoy. Like, okay, let's say this is like an online game, right?
Yeah.
You play 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
You finish it. It's not online, like a story-based game. But after like 10 years or like 5 years, you can just come back to it and enjoy the game. Well, if it's an online game, you can come back how much ever later you want, and it'll be the same experience.
Yeah.
And you just be like, oh, the same shit.
I feel like story games are less of a sport than RPG games.
Yeah, definitely. But
Anyways,
I think it's a more like it's a better art form. Like story-based games are like just better art form.
It's a more valuable experience as long as you respect the experience and not play it like a dozen times.
Like you don't just go through your phone and just like play the game for playing the game. Like you actually dive deep inside the story. And
and I would say that after long enough, a story game becomes a sport itself because now it's about getting faster.
Like Arnav and all.
Yeah.
Like he'll just play the Spider-Man game like so fast.
Oh yeah. Not even like Pokemon Emerald. I bet he's beat that like hundreds of times.
Exactly.
Same with Sword having a lot of hours on.
Every game ever.
Yeah.
1600 hours on Breath of the Wild, bro.
Yeah. Anyways, let's
Get to the
expand
list.
and let's zoom out.
Get to the
Let's
list.
get to the list. Second thing is Rudra College, but I think we should keep that for later right now. How are we gonna process how we are going to process in our creative work from this point onwards? This is your point.
It was.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next point.
Okay, we need to start going to the gym.
Real.
Okay, this ties into testosterone.
Yeah.
The number one thing you can do to boost your testosterone, aside from like abstaining from 7 days or whatever,
Yeah.
is going to the gym.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's not just going to the gym in a vacuum. It's like what happens after you go to the gym, the effect it has on the effects it has on your skin, on the way you look. When you're doing body weight or like weightlifting or whatever it is, you're burning calories anyway. You automatically get more conscious about like the stuff that you're eating, how you're bulking, your cardio or whatever. Because once you start the thing about running is that running, like, it's great when you're running, but after that, aside from like if you're trying to get skinny or whatever, after a certain point it's like I'm not really seeing any benefits aside from like losing a bit of fat.
Yeah.
Right? And the main benefit that comes from running is cardiovascular health
Yeah.
and your stamina or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you can only really notice that when you're actually like running, when you're doing some type of physical exercise. And for people our age, because we're just young right now and we're like naturally high in testosterone, like we're growing, we have growth hormones or whatever, it's very hard to notice the change in that. But what you can notice the change in is with weightlifting, because weightlifting has such a huge immediate impact on you. Like if you go consistently for 1 or 2 months, once you close that feedback loop, which is something that I'm working on, the barrier to entry theory.
Yeah.
Once you close that feedback loop, once you get to the reward part of it, after that it's just automatic. The gym thing keeps going on. You won't want to quit. You won't want to stop, because even the pain of like doing that 15th barbell curl, like you can feel your arm getting hot.
Yeah.
You can see like the veins like really protruding.
Mm-hmm.
It's painful.
Yeah.
But it feels so damn good.
Yeah. I second that, because although I don't have experience having a habit of working out, I feel like I've worked out consistently. The longest time was like 2 weeks, I guess. And I haven't experienced it to your extent, obviously, but the effects are real. Have you been consistently ever gone to the gym?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year I used to go, I think like every day. No, like just basically a lot of times to the newer gym with my dad,
Yeah.
and just like work out a lot.
Yeah.
And the difference back then was I was lazy,
Yeah.
like lazy doing the gym.
Yeah.
You know how like the difference is you need to have drive,
Yeah.
and then you just need to work out because you need to work out.
Yeah.
And the difference is that when you have drive, you'll do the like toughest shit just because you want to do it and you like want to prove it to yourself that, oh, you're kind of this guy.
Yeah.
But back then I did that thinking that, oh, I'm not the kind of person that goes to the gym, but since my friends are going, I just go anyways.
Yeah, that's why my habit didn't stick, but I'll get to that. But the effects are real. It was so good for my relationship for that period of time when I was going to the gym. I was thinking clearly, and this was just a small part of my life. The rest of my life was kind of falling apart.
Yeah.
But just because of that, like, and it was so immediate. As soon as I was done working out, I'm like, okay, I feel great. I feel like I can have a positive conversation with someone. I feel like I have more patience to talk to someone who's like cranky as shit. And I'm like, okay, this is something. And it happened for 1 day, 2 days. 2 weeks. I feel like those were the best 2 weeks of that year, at least. And it was amazing. And imagine if I did that every day with, 1 day for recovery and whatnot. But imagine if it's a habit.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing. That's
But what I love is that once you start getting good, everything is just a feedback loop.
Yeah.
Like, once you start abstaining and just going to the gym, like you would not want to quit because it literally gives you the motivation itself. Like it's a loop.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot because it would be really difficult if it was like just if it remained difficult the entire time.
Yeah.
That's why I like what he said about the barrier to entry thing. Is like once you get off, like once you break that barrier, you can just keep going and you won't want to stop. Like you'll feel bad for stopping itself.
Even the thing about running, I've been running every single day for I think 1.5 weeks now, because the first time I ran, my legs were sore, so I skipped for like 2 days. But like now it's setting in. Now it's like every run feels great when I come back.
Yeah, exactly,
even if it
dude.
tires me.
I remember my legs were very sore from the start, and I just kept running. And then I took a break for like 2 days, and then I ran again. It's like the more you run, like just take like long strides and shit. At some point, because I understood why it's called a recovery run.
Yeah.
Because after that, I felt like I just had more energy to do more things.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling tired and like, oh yeah, I'm done.
Yeah,
for
I
today.
feel like I cannot function in my day if I don't wake up at 7 a.m. and go for a run. I was getting to the point where, so I shower after I come back from my run, right? And when I'm in the bathroom, when I'm shirtless in front of the mirror, I know nothing is technically changed because I've just been going for 1.5 weeks, but it feels great.
Yeah.
And I know objectively I'm skinny as fuck and I need to work on that, but it feels great. Like, okay, fuck that. I like this. Like, it feels good. And it's placebo or whatever, but placebo just gets a bad
placebo
name
is real
because
anyways.
it's not real. But in fact, placebo is real.
Placebo is literally everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
thing is, the placebo is so interesting because it's not real, but that's the real thing about it, that it's not real. Like it's just in your mind, but it works. So it's real,
Yeah.
right?
Bro, even
It's just being aware of something that's fake, but it works, so it's real.
It's this general misconception we have, and I feel like in general we just look at science and empirical evidence in the wrong way.
Yeah.
So science is not an objective truth. Science is just an interpretation that we can write into books, an interpretation that we can put in the very confined box that is language.
Yeah.
Right? If I was listening to Andrew Huberman a while back, and it was a podcast with Rick Rubin. You guys know Rick Rubin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know Rick Rubin?
No, I have heard the name.
It's okay,
I've
sorry.
probably seen him, but I don't know him.
Basically, what he was saying is that he was talking to a really renowned neuroscientist. He was talking about psychology, and he asked him, so in the current psychology textbooks, how much of what is written in these textbooks, the ones they teach in like medical college and everything, how much of it is actually probably true? And he said probably less than 50% of it is true.
Oh yeah, another thing about, what's related to science in this book is it kind of detests science, and it's like, it says that science is just, so what we consider a scientific fact is just based on recurring patterns that every single time they've happened, we know are to be true. But that illusion can be broken anytime.
Yeah, I love that.
Nobody knows if the earth is gonna stop spinning. We assume the possibility for the sake of curiosity, but scientists would say, oh yeah, that's never gonna happen. But You don't know.
Bro,
Scientists in the 1400s used to say the Earth is flat.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, bro,
Here's the
what I
thing.
love about science is that none of it is like real because it's all just
It's all just based on a pattern that we've seen to be true. The Earth revolves around the sun, and it always has. But that doesn't mean it's not gonna keep doing that. You cannot predict the future. It capitalizes off of the idea that you never know what's gonna happen. A fucking missile can come crashing down right now, and nobody would know.
yeah. But
Like-
even at least that is something that could like happen. But what I love about science is that I love what he said, like none of it is real because all of whatever that science is just recurring patterns.
Yeah.
But like anything could go wrong, and that shit has happened. Like you just go deep down, and people can't make sense of whatever the quantum mechanics shit. Like they can't make sense of what's happening,
Yeah.
and that really fucks them up because whatever we have discovered to be like fact is just like broken down there.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know if this is actually gonna
The
happen.
truth about reality is that life is truly unexpected as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, where were we? Yeah, we were talking about science.
I mean, this is not even like considering the amount of.
What the fuck?
Why?
I didn't open this. I just opened my phone.
Anyways, yeah. So,
I mean, we haven't even considered the amount of just not even misinformation. It's just that the way we conduct. So what science really is, it's taking a lot of averages, right? Especially when it comes to things like biology.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it is just taking averages and making interpretations of those averages.
yeah.
We as like regular like laymen, we never question those studies. We never sit down and actually read the papers and how they were conducted.
Yeah.
Right? We never actually like question where something comes from.
Yeah.
Right? So like a year ago or so, like I was like super liberal and everything. I was like everyone, just like on Twitter, everyone just says that gender is a social construct.
Yeah.
It's like they completely deny the fact that they just say that all of it is nurture, none of it is nature.
Yeah.
Right? All of it is just societal expectations.
Yeah.
And I just assumed that was true because I just assumed that like the people who are talking, and these are qualified people, like qualified physiotherapists who are saying this.
Yeah.
But it's like one physiotherapist will say that it's a complete social construct. The guy with the same degree who studied at the same college will say the complete polar opposite.
Yeah.
It's like
So what is it?
what is it then?
Go to the college and find out.
The longer I'm living, the more I'm like. So people used to ask me, do you believe in God? If you ask me that question, I'd say I don't know. And I used to think that was a stupid thing to say because how do you not know if you believe in God? I simply don't know.
Exactly. That's
My mom is religious or whatever. She prays to a God, but what is that God? I don't know anything about that God apart from his name, which is a convention anyways. But I am not wise enough to believe in anything, technically. Like, I mean, I believe in the fact that working out is good for you, but not that. Like more existential things that actually matter to the planet, I guess you would say, or to reality. I don't know if God exists. I don't know. Like when you ask me, are you a conservative or liberal? I don't know. I'm nowhere. I'm not on the spectrum.
Yeah,
technically.
he's not in the box.
Yeah. I guess that's what.
He's not in the matrix.
The corniest way to say is I don't belong anywhere. I'm just different.
Yeah, he's just off the grid.
That's how everyone should be, because when you align yourself to a certain set of beliefs, to a certain political, religious system, whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's like you are limiting yourself to that thing. You're not allowing yourself to actually like think about shit and have genuine opinions about things.
Yeah.
People hate it when, or not hate it, but like when someone puts themselves on a path, on a line. I'm a conservative Republican, let's say. If I identify myself with that, everything I'm gonna think is gonna be about that. But as soon as naturally I have a thought that detests that, which is a
You're gonna
valid
deny
thought,
it.
you hate it. You're like, no, this is not who I am, and that is the worst thing you can do to yourself.
Yeah, I think there's just
Because it's so important to have an open mind, and I've never understood the importance of that until now. Like, like 3 years later, I might say, oh, what I'm saying right now is bullshit, and that's important. It's okay for me to say that. It's important for me to identify what I think is wrong, simply because I feel it's wrong. Like, let me give an example. Yeah, like, okay, let's think about masturbation. Now, it's like I'm abstaining from it, right? 3 years later, I'll be like, oh no, you know what? In fact, it's good for me. And that might or might not be objectively true, but as long as it helps me, if it does at all, that's what you should realize, that, oh, does it help me or not? And does that thought add any value to what I knew before and what I know now, or what I want to know now? So I might have that thought that, you know what, this whole time it was good for me. And that's a horrible thought to have, because objectively it's probably not that. But just the mere fact that I give attention and time to that unhinged thought makes it not unhinged. Literally,
Yeah.
that's all anxiety is about. You know, a question in my survey was, do you identify yourself as an anxious person? What people do is they manipulate themselves into thinking they are an anxious person when they just have anxious
It's all
thoughts.
gaslighting. That's
Yeah.
what you gotta do, and that's what people already do to make themselves
And
worse.
yeah, exactly. So, and it's not even like a higher power or something. Anxiety is this, literally.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing about a conservative Republican. The moment he has a different thought, he's gonna like manipulate himself into forgetting about that thought, which might be something like a breakthrough for him, maybe, and it might be like the best moment of his life. But
Yeah.
he's just gonna ignore
Yeah,
that
like,
because
not
that's
me.
the one. Yeah. This is another reason why I hate labels, and I guess this is one thing I can say, that I believe in hating labels.
Yeah, because that literally like just that is the only thing. You know how like it changes the only constant. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what ties in with what
See,
he
here's
said.
the thing. We are never we are never constant. I guess that's the word. We are ever changing all the time. Like it's not there's no time frame to it. You are always changing. Like, it's not like, oh, every second one cell of your body
Yeah,
changes.
yeah.
No, you are always changing. You cannot quantify it, because the thing about reality, the present moment, is that the moment it is born is the exact moment it dies, and you can only think about it when it's dead, because the moment that you're spending to think about it being dead,
Yeah.
another moment is
yeah,
already being
yeah,
born.
and then by the time you get to think about it, it's already dead.
Exactly. So, like, you actually cannot quantify the speed of
Change.
reality.
Yeah.
You cannot quantify time. I mean, you can in seconds, but oh shit, that's another thing. You're a slave to watches. That we are slave to the clocks we invented. But I won't go too deep on
I
that.
don't condone slavery, so like, sorry.
I think an overarching concept in all of this is there's this quote that the greatest sin of mankind was sowing the first seed.
Yeah, I've heard that. Oh my god. Yeah.
We're a slave to like our own creation. We're a
Exactly.
slave to all of this.
Exactly. And the thing I said about conventions, the funniest thing is I'm literally using conventions
To define convention.
Yeah, but the beautiful thing is that we all know it in our minds now. Like, yeah, we use the convention to convey it, but that's the best we can do. Literally, I can't send you
The
brain
only
waves.
way to say language is a box is to put it in the box.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't have brainwaves, right? I can't send you information like this. I wish I could, because that
Elon Musk AI chip.
humans would not be the same if that was the case. We
Yeah.
probably would evolve into not having mouths at all, right? And like it would probably like be very like it would destroy humanity, because I could just like send a message to Elon Musk or something, shit like that.
Nah.
It would detest a lot of what we believe or what is actually true, right?
It probably like
But-
follow a lot of
Have you guys
issues
seen
too.
PK?
Yeah, PK.
PK says that like on his planet, they don't speak because they can communicate through holding each other's hands.
Yeah.
That is actually such a superpower.
It is so cute.
Imagine that.
Imagine like
Dude,
R
there would-
slash got your superpower.
There would be like if you really think about it, there wouldn't be any conflict in the world because everyone would be able to empathize with everyone.
Yeah, exactly. The conflict is literally misunderstanding.
Yeah,
It is not the lack of
Bro.
empathy.
It
Because-
is the lack of communication.
Yeah, it is not the lack of empathy. It is the disconnect between voice and intent and voice. We can try our hardest. We can never actually truly communicate how we feel.
Literally.
We can just get as close to it as possible and hope the person is on the same level and that they get it.
In the 8th grade, this is kind of irrelevant, but in the 8th grade, so we had an MUN club, okay? We had different clubs, one of them was an MUN club, okay? It was run by 12th graders, and I was in the 8th grade. I was told, so we had like a little debate competition. You had 1 minute to speak on a certain, 2 minutes to speak, and like they'd bring two people up, one would say something, someone else would say something, and and like the other kids would vote who said better. I said this exact same fucking thing, and I'm remembering it right now. And in that moment, I literally, because I wasn't able to communicate it, that's literally what it was. I said, if we were able to communicate effectively, there would be no conflict in the world.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be talking about politics, because
Yeah.
everything would be so clear to everyone,
Yeah.
right? And it's so fucking meta, because I wasn't able to communicate my idea in that moment, so everyone was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
It's like and the other guy came up and he started talking about like, oh, it's nice to paint. And they all voted for him.
Dude, I want to be in a debate.
Oh yeah.
I actually want to go to a debate.
It was so, bro.
Like a casual debate or something.
Like casual.
I'm really working on speech, and that should end now. But anyways, have you guys heard of the theory that we probably don't see the same colors?
Yeah, you know what? You know the theory? I made it up in my brain in 4th grade.
Yeah.
Not even 3rd grade.
Everyone's made up.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
their
And
brain.
they had the existential crisis, and they got over it.
But you guys understand it, right?
Yeah, but like I've gotten over it recently.
Yeah, I mean,
Recently?
I did some research and I figured out, okay, that's probably not the case.
Bro,
I'm
we're talking
always
about
over
this.
it because I don't know the scientific thing like you do.
Yeah.
I'll probably learn about it and it will get resolved, but it's always gonna be in my mind because it's not that it's a scientific thing that I don't understand. It's the fact that I can't make peace with the fact that we only have words
To
for
express.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Nothing
the
else.
craziest thing about colors is that there is no other way you can express a color by except for the name of it.
Yeah.
Like
Even
it's
though
pink, but what's pink? Like at least with me, I can say that this is me, like just pointing at me. But what is pink?
we don't know what it's saying.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's what.
and you know what? I guess the biggest thing is that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't affect anything.
It doesn't affect anything.
That's
at
why you
all.
get over it, because it's like, oh yeah, maybe the wavelength and the frequency are the same.
Yeah,
Like you can
that's-
define it by that.
that's-
But then your brain can just fuck up how you perceive
That's
it.
the case where the solution is that there is no
No
solution.
solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like just.
Or the
just get
solution
over
is
it.
that, or the way you get to the solution is by stop trying to find the solution in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we did
You
gym.
guys want to end the recording?
Yeah, I think so. It's gonna get too long because there's like so many songs. You can end mine though. End mine.
Thank you for watching.
Should I end this?
Yes, it's recording.
Can you
you
say
ended this already.
please like, subscribe?
Please like, subscribe, and comment under the video.